Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Harmen Smith, a Nintendo fanboy that his takes are very questionable today. So I hope you guys enjoy the video and enjoy.
It's been a long time since I talked about palworld because at its core, this is not a relevant video game.
No, you're right. It's not a relevant video game. It actually is a very fun game more than Pokemon. But the problem is you don't like that because you don't want Nintendo to have competition with your IP and that you're upset.
You know, all the copes, all the narratives, all the lies.
What lies? This game just came out of the bloom just last year and it's still going strong in 2025. Do you honestly think Pokemon would stand a chance against that, Harmen? I think not, because it's been coming out lately.
You know, palworld was never going to be successful. It was never going to be a big deal. It was never going to, replace Pokemon.
Nobody's asking to replace Pokemon. Plus, it sold like 50 million copies in a month, okay? That's how big this game is, because people want a good game that people like, and palworld has proven that there's a market for this thing. And if you don't think that, then just look on their Twitter page. So, I don't know
And this was pretty self-evident, right out of the gate, but the community could not bring itself to admit it.
What do you mean that the community could not bring itself to admit it? I'll admit it that it's a very good game. I think it's better than Pokemon. Do I think it would put Nintendo out of business? No, because this game just came out of the bloom, so I don't see what you're...
They bent over backwards to try and cover up the obvious plagiarism. They tried to shill for Pocket Pair.
Dude, your point sounds stupid. If anything, it's an inspiration of Dragon's Quest and Pokemon. Nintendo did the exact same thing, so I don't see what your point is. Do you not even do research of how good this game is? This game is actually very fun with survival aspects. And if you don't think not, then I don't know what else to tell you, because you can enjoy your shitty console for all I care. And plus, Borderlands 3 runs like shit on it. So that's another example.
Not to be some heroes of the gaming industry, and they pretended that they were 100% guaranteed to win the lawsuit.
Do I think that they could win the lawsuit? Yeah, sure. I think they could if they have the right team and the right lawyers in Japan. So I don't see why not.
Against Nintendo. In fact, when this situation first kicked off, they were in denial that there was going to be a lawsuit to begin with.
No, I don't think they even knew that this lawsuit was going to happen by Nintendo. And plus, they patent certain mechanics like riding mechanics, capture mons. It's a fucking stupid mechanic of patent laws.
And after the lawsuit was announced, they tried complaining about some arbitrary difference between patent law and copyright law.
You do realize patent laws means that they patent a mechanic like riding, capturing, those type of things, like even Pokeballs, okay? It's an inspiration of Pokemon. What do you not understand?
Ignoring the fact that Nintendo is suing for Pokemon-related patents, right? It was, I think, the biggest example.
What biggest example? Because palworld sold 6 million copies in under a week that Pokemon couldn't do? Sure, yeah, that could be an example, but you think that Pokemon's gonna last forever if Game Freak can't freaking make a polished game instead of just it coming out every single year? And sorry if I started, by the way. It's just this take is just so stupid that it just pisses me the hell off. And he thinks that palworld's gonna lose this lawsuit, which I hope it don't, just to prove.
Of how the PC gaming community will bend over backwards to try and prop up some mediocre developer in order to get one up over Nintendo.
I don't think it's gonna get one up over Nintendo because Pokemon's so big that it's a massive franchise that makes them billions of dollars. But I think Game Freak gotten lazy to not make a good polished game for the Nintendo Switch and the Switch 2, because it runs like ass.
You see this all the time, whether it's like, trying to say Celeste is a great 2D platformer, Hollow Knight is better than Metroid, or that like Pizza Tower is some like legendary game that's never been done before.
Just a question, I never heard of Pizza Tower. I don't know what the fuck that game is, but I don't know. I don't even want to know. I never heard of it, so all I've been playing is just palworld, other good games that are better than Pokemon at this point. I don't even buy Pokemon cards because I think they're a joke, and I'd rather buy Yu-Gi-Oh cards because Yu-Gi-Oh is actually a pretty good game than Pokemon in my opinion. So
these people are completely out of touch with what's actually.
Yeah, with what are they out of touch? If anything, it's Game Freak that's out of touch because they just been making Pokemon and no other IPs, so what's your point? So I looked it up on how many players palworld it sits. It sits at 2.1 million players, so yeah, tell me that the game's dying already, which is not. So
what's actually available on Nintendo consoles and how much their stuff actually stacks up. The big cope when it comes to something like Pizza Tower, for example.
Okay, so I'm gonna go on a tangent here. I don't know what the fuck Pizza Tower is still to this day. I never even heard of it, and the Switch 2, so.
Is that like, well, Nintendo hasn't made a Wario Land game in 20 years, completely ignoring the fact that.
That's because Nintendo's lazy. They'd just rather milk Pokemon and Mario at this point because they make billions of dollars.
The 20-year-old Wario Land games are actually significantly better than Pizza Tower.
And here we go again with Pizza Tower. I still don't know what the hell that game is. The only games I play is on my PC and PS4 at this point, so I still don't know what the hell that is to this day. I never even heard of it, and I don't even want to know. So if it's like a rip-off of Balloon Tower Defense, so I'm not interested. I'd rather just play that. And I'm also going to go on a tangent here. This dude literally just makes no sense of talking to other games, and he has no right to even say anything at this point, so I'm going to let the video play.
There are dozens of examples of this over the years, but I honestly feel like palworld is the most blatant example.
Okay, can you name me a few examples? Because I could name a few that ain't gonna run well on the Switch 2, so it's gonna run like ass. I can name Borderlands 3, Borderlands 4, Mortal Kombat 1.
And I do think we can safely say at this stage that the reason for this behavior, the reason why people
like palworld so much is because it's a unique game. It's a lot different than what you expect from Pokemon. It's not a turn-based game. It's a survival RPG mechanic that is a different genre. And I'm just gonna go on another tangent here. This dude did not do his research, so don't believe what the fuck he says for this guy. And no wonder why people make fun of him so much, because he's such a hypocrite. And no wonder why he's a Nintendo fanboy. So I'm just saying that, and this ain't to like other people who are big Nintendo fans. This is only fanboys that just is that deep in depth of sucking Nintendo's dick at this point. So I'm just gonna lay that out.
Astrobot was better than Kirby and the Forgotten Land, or Baldur's Gate 3 better than Zelda.
Damn, he's still salty over Baldur's Gate 3 and Elden Ring winning Game of the Years, all because Nintendo didn't win. So I don't understand why he's so upset. He can't just take it anymore, can he? So I bet that sucks to suck, dude.
There was this huge push to try and make it seem like Nintendo was some dying company that couldn't compete with the big boy developers.
Okay, this is where I have to say that is a stupid take, because Pocket Pair is not that big in my opinion, so.
Yeah, palworld is an example of that just falling flat on its face.
Why is it falling flat on its face when the game is doing good? It's been getting a lot of good updates lately, like a Terraria crossover. Can you explain?
Because I think Nintendo's games are so specifically distinct and with their own unique mechanics that even something like palworld.
And yet here we are, that palworld proves a point that there is still a market for games like Pokemon. And that's why Nintendo refuses to put it on all their platforms.
That completely changes the genre, right? Can still be spotted as being plagiarized by.
Okay, for one, this is a false allegation because you guys are framing the company of Pocket Pair saying that they are plagiarizing Pokemon when Pokemon technically took inspiration of Dragon's Quest.
Fans, like there are plagiarized assets for Pokemon. They did steal mechanics from Legends Arceus. It's a straight up copy.
How is it a straight up copy when the game improved the mechanics that Game Freak can't even do? And it said that Pocket Pair is being under a lawsuit, and I support them. So I don't really see Nintendo in the right here. If anything, I see it as competition that they're scared. That palworld is gonna overdo something that Pokemon.
And Nintendo clearly has been demonstrating this in court. And unfortunately, palworld has had to take the knee and acknowledge that yes, they have been plagiarizing stuff.
No, they fucking did not, and you know it. If anything, they are gonna stand up against Nintendo because they are in Japan. They would not win in the United States because we have IP laws, and Pocket Pair is in a right in the United States, so if they move to the United States, they would be under IP law protection. And Nintendo can't file a lawsuit in the United States because they would lose in a heartbeat, so.
They do need to make changes, and they do need to acknowledge their game as just being a complete knockoff of Pokemon. And you can already see this in how they've been responding.
Okay, for one, palworld is not a knockoff of Pokemon. It is an inspiration of Dragon's Quest, Arc, and Pokemon. If anything, it's even more inspiration of Legends of Zelda. That's why they have parachutes. If you don't think that, you are entirely retarded. Your IQ is at 1%. So listen, if anything, palworld will probably make Nintendo fucking scared.
These lawsuits, we're gonna. They're trying to weasel their way out of it. They're trying to say that we're just gonna change the way the mechanics work then, and that the cope right now is that this doesn't mean anything and that this isn't gonna amount to anything.
Yes, because you called Big Godfather Nintendo because you guys were bitching and complaining that palworld sold 6 million copies and then it sold 50 million copies in under a month. So that's your fault for bringing Nintendo into this, and even Nintendo didn't give a shit because it's not even copywriting any issues, so I don't see what's your point, okay?
And Pocket Pair is protecting themselves from Nintendo, but the reality is they're kind of already acknowledging guilt, and they're just trying to weasel their way out of it. They think they're going to remain relevant after this lawsuit is through, and it just isn't going to happen.
How would you know, Harmen? You're not a lawyer. You wouldn't understand IP laws and game mechanics. That's like the Nemesis system. And that's not even coming until 2036, I swear. This dude does not understand how game mechanics work, and he pisses me off that he thinks that Pocket Pair isn't gonna win this lawsuit, and I hope they do. So, and this is the end of the video. Like if you dislike it, like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it, and I am out, and I hope you guys have a good one. Leave a comment if you guys want more like this.